It's Disruptive FM. Disruptive FM. Disruptive FM. Welcome to Disruptive FM, where business and culture collide. Sponsored by Microsoft and Branding Strategy Insider. With your host, Jeffrey Colon.
Okay, here we go.
Hey, what's up? It's Disruptive FM, episode 10 for the week ending Friday the 13th of July, 2018. Where the heck has the year gone? I'm Jeffrey Colon, your audio guide for the next 15 minutes or so, as we dissect the culture of business and look at what's happening at the intersection of tech, media, marketing, and popular culture. Take it away.
Here are this week's trending topics. Good is the new cool.
Everywhere you turn in this day and age, social good is becoming the cornerstone of business. You're ready to buy a product at the grocery store, and then you quickly turn to an app to find out if that business gives to political organizations you don't agree with. You find out they donate to some far right-wing group, and you put down the product to buy something else. For eons, we have said that business should not be political, but is that now impossible? When you take up causes for good, aren't you taking up causes for social good? This is exactly what is happening. One person, Afdel Aziz, is the author of the book Good is the New Cool, and is pushing an agenda where creators just creating for consumption's sake are missing the point of how to connect in the 21st century. Because it's becoming harder and harder to connect with people in this day and age of tribal economics. I wanted to get to the heart of why social good is finally sweeping the globe and what we can learn from it. Let's take a listen to Aziz's thoughts on this possible move from a recent presentation on this topic.
So, the next big trend that we spotted was technological disruption. And especially in the business that I'm in, marketing, we say that technology is disrupting advertising like it disrupted the music business. So do you guys remember what happened when Napster came along and completely disintegrated the whole architecture of how people consume music? That same thing is happening to the conventional advertising model. So I'll let you read one of my favorite headlines I saw last year. 82% of kids in Netflix-only households have no idea what TV commercials are. I know this, I have a 3-year-old son, and he gets mad at me when he has to watch regular TV. He's like, what is this? I don't want this. If you think the salvation then lies in digital, this is the global rise of ad blocking software. 275 million users and counting. In any country around the world, ad blocking software is usually in the top 10 of the iOS and Android app stores. This is not going away anytime soon. So we're having a situation where people don't want to see ads on their TV. They don't want to see ads on their laptop or phone. So as an industry in marketing, I ask, what are we doing making things that people don't want to see? And the converse of that is, how can we make things that actually people want to participate in? Content and experiences that they welcome into their lives. So it's really summed up to me in this quote: advertising is the new coal. And I apologize to anybody working in advertising here, but I loved it. It's I kind of like it, right? Like coal, it's almost like an 18th century industry that we need to find a new model for in the 21st century as well.
That was Afdel Aziz, author of the book Good is the New Cool, and why we should be paying attention to this tipping point trend.
Trending topics on DFM. Tech and tariffs.
Tech thinks it may escape the wrath of tariffs. After all, they make imaginary products that come to life via code, and there is no hardware. There's just one problem with that logic. The semiconductor is the lifeblood of the industry, and almost all of them are manufactured in China. So what could this mean for tech if these semiconductors face punishing tariffs? Well, one thing is your hardware, like mobile phones and computers and tablets, could cost more. But what about software? That could become costly too, as semiconductors and servers are more expensive to build and maintain. There's a domino effect here, and it could ripple through the industry. I'm sure many of you thumbing through your Instagram might not care, but this could have a colossal effect by souring relations between the U.S. and China. The new tariffs could also result in hurting the American economy. Economists are generally weary of tariffs, since they drive up costs for businesses and consumers. The increased costs lead to fewer purchases and generally create a drag on economic growth. Stay tuned for more in this area as it unfolds on future episodes.
Trending topics on DFM. Charts matter.
How do we track music consumption in the streaming era? The Hot 100 in Billboard magazine promises to capture the week's most popular current songs across all genres. But all has shrunk to one. That's right, Drake. If the goal of a chart is strictly to reflect what's popular, the fact that a single artist accounts for half of the top 40 makes sense. But if a chart like the Hot 100 has other functions, like boosting young artists and promoting diverse listening habits, simply counting up Scorpion's streams and calling it a day prevents it from achieving them. If the chart is supposed to reflect reality, I guess this is reality, is what Randall Grass, A&R for long-running indie label Shinaki Entertainment, said recently. But it's a symptom of the rich getting richer, which seems to be happening all across society in this day and age. It is a push towards a monoculture. That's not healthy for music, that's not healthy for society, and it leaves less room for artists of all types. There is a common perception that charts like the Hot 100, which measures total consumption by tallying streaming activity, traditional sales, and airplay, don't matter. To think that a chart is going to affect a customer, except if you're number one, is pretty naive. Jimmy Iovine of Apple Music's Beats told Rolling Stone last year. For a younger artist who's developing, it can be career-changing to get on the chart early on. Let's dispense with that notion quickly. Charts are important. Gatekeepers are important. Curators are important. Whether or not artists want them to be or casual listeners even bother to view them. Most customers don't invest much time in hunting for music. Songs are filtered for them ahead of time by an assortment of gatekeepers at labels, radio, streaming services, TV shows, and movie studios. And in the streaming age, with far more music available than anyone could consume, those gatekeepers are more dependent on ways of aggregating popularity information, i.e. charts, more than ever. Gatekeepers, curators still matter more than ever. You heard it here first on DFM.
You're listening to Disruptive FM with Jeffrey Cologne.
Now, here comes the music. Here comes the music. Here comes the music. Here comes the music. Here comes the music.
It's Disruptive FM. I'm Jeffrey Cologne. Thanks for tuning in. In the background, that's new music from the Deli with a track called Midnight in Brazil from LA-based Cold Busted Records, one of the finest labels for instrumental hip-hop and trip-hop. Hey, you want to engage with DFM every day? Follow us on Instagram or Twitter at DisruptiveFM. Okay, time to take a sneak peek at exciting new pieces of hardware.
Hey nerds! Listen up! Disruptive FM presents the new Hootie Hoo in Turned Up Tech. Hootie Hoo! Geargasm.
Shut up and take my money!
For a long time, mobile phones got smaller. Then the smartphone came and they got bigger. Meanwhile, your laptop stayed the same. But now it's getting smaller with the release of Microsoft's Surface Go, a $400 tablet computer that is so small you will want to pair it with your mobile phone. The basic Surface Go might look a lot like Apple's iPad, but inside it's a real deal Windows PC with 4 gigabytes of RAM, 64 gigabytes of storage, and an Intel 1.6 gigahertz Pentium 4415Y processor. That's hardly top of the line in PC land, but it's pretty impressive for a tablet that's less than half an inch thick. By comparison, the entry-level 9.7-inch iPad has half as much RAM, half as much storage, and a 2-year-old processor. With an Intel processor, that means the Surface Go runs a full suite of Windows apps, not stripped-down mobile versions like you get on the iPad. Though you'll need to shift it out of the default S mode to full Windows 10, a free upgrade to do so, however. But what really gives the Surface Go an edge over the iPad is its input expandability. Like the 9.7-inch iPad and the Apple Pencil, the Surface Go includes support for Microsoft's Surface Pen. But you can also use it with a Surface-type cover keyboard and Surface Mobile mouse. That means you can use it like a laptop on a table when you're not holding it. The 9.7-inch iPad can't do that so easily. Cupertino, the ball is in your court. All right, time to check out what's on the radar.
Here's what's on our radar. Number 1.
Snapchat is reportedly teaming up with Amazon on a visual product search feature codenamed Eagle, according to TechCrunch. The feature, which was discovered by researcher Ishan Agarwal, buried in the company's Android app, can identify products from the camera using barcodes and then send users to Amazon listings for purchase. The potential future update could be a new revenue stream for the firm, says Business Insider. It's not the social media company's first foray into partnering with other tech firms. In 2016, it teamed up with Shazam to help users identify songs through its microphone.
Number 2.
McKinsey and Company has stopped working for Immigration and Customs Enforcement, also known as ICE, reports the New York Times. Last month, the Times revealed that McKinsey had done more than $20 million worth of consulting for ICE. On Monday, McKinsey's new managing partner, Kevin Sneeder, wrote to former employees to say the contract had rightly raised their concerns. McKinsey will not, under any circumstances, engage in any work, anywhere in the world, that advances or assists policies that are at odds with our values, Sneeder wrote.
Number 3.
Consumer interest in virtual reality, or VR, is declining, according to a report from Thinknum Media, which cites data on headsets from HTC, Sony, Samsung, and Facebook Oculus. For example, the Oculus Go was a top 10 seller in May. The headset is nearing spot 100 this month, however. The number of employees at HTC is also dwindling as sales drop. The company announced last week that it's laying off 25% of its workforce in Taiwan. It might be time to shift to AR. Okay, that's going to do it for another episode of DFM. We made it to 10. Connect with us by following me on Twitter or Instagram at DJGEOFFE. That's at DJ Jeffy. And follow Disruptive FM on Twitter or Instagram at Disruptive FM. And you can read more in-depth content via our sponsors, Microsoft.com/stories, or BrandingStrategyInsider.com. Also, don't forget, we have another episode out this week, a special edition from Cannes Lions, featuring exclusive interviews we conducted there last month. I'm Jeffrey Colon. For everyone here at DFM, thanks for spending some time with us. We'll catch you next week.
You've been listening to Disruptive FM with Microsoft Communications designer Jeffrey Colon. All thoughts are his own. Disruptive FM is produced in Los Angeles by Feeler Media.